Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm excited to be checking out the Eureka. This is their E20 Plus. Eureka is sponsoring today's video, but I want you to know that any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Here's a look at the retail box and packaging, some key features right on the front. So you might notice we have their transparent bag-free base station that features their multi-cyclonic dust collection. Basically, it's going to effectively separate 98% of dust and dirt. And we have a 10mm mop lifting functionality built into the RoboVac itself. We have some more features highlighted on the side and the back side right here, and some additional product tech specs right there on the other side of the box. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, you'll notice we have some product literature. This consists of a quick start guide and a full user guide and manual. We also have an extra mop pad right here. We have our left and right side cleaning brushes, color-coded and clearly labeled left and right. We have a multi-purpose cleaning and detangling tool. We have the vacuum itself, and we have our bagless self-empty base. Let's look at these in more detail. Starting with the vacuum, at the top, you'll notice the Eureka logo and branding, a LiDAR navigational module, 3 control buttons. Now we'll look at it from the side, starting at the front with our navigational bumper. We have sensors sprinkled all around here. We'll move along to the backside, charging contacts, removable dustbin right there, and a water tank. We have a reset button clearly marked on this side, and some more sensors on that front bumper. Now we'll look at it underneath. We have our spring-loaded drive wheels, omnidirectional wheel, cliff sensors, left and right side cleaning brushes, color-coded and labeled for us. Here's our main brush roller here. Take a look at that. No bristles at all. And that easily removes to clean and detangle. Then we have our mop pad right here already installed. Microfiber slides on, slides off. And then you have that Velcro to keep it in place. Let's take a look at the dustbin and water tank that's removable. First, we have a warning right here. Do not add any detergent into the water tank to prevent potential clogs. Up at the top, we have our filter access, so we can replace and clean as needed. We can also open up to reveal the dustbin. We can clean that as needed too. There's the filter from the other side. Then off to the right-hand side in purple, we can open that up. That's where we're gonna add our water to fill up the water tank here. I love the transparent design for that, so we can see inside the dustbin and our water tank right there. Show you it from all different sides and angles. Got the Eureka purple sprinkled throughout. Just nice aesthetic touches there. And back to the bottom, we can go ahead, we can install our side cleaning brushes. Just line them up and they snap right in place. So line it up, square, boom, there we go. Both of our side cleaning brushes have now been installed. Let's take a look at that self-empty base. Starting with the top of the base, front and center, we have a lock and unlock button here. So we can slide it to the left to unlock. Then we have a handle built in. Then we can gently pull the dust cup up and out of the way. Here's a look at the base with that removed. Front and center, we got the Eureka logo and branding, indicator light, charging contacts, self-empty channel right there to suck up the contents from the vacuum's dustbin. Here's your side profile. Here's a look at the back side. We have filter access here, so we can clean and replace as needed. We also have customer service and contact info, toggle on and off switch, built-in cable management. Here's a look at the other side. And a look at the very bottom. This is neat, guys. We have a see-through channel here. So if we ever have any clogs or debris, we can easily grab a Phillips head screwdriver, remove a couple of screws, and get the clog out of the way. And 4 nice grip feet here, providing a lot of tread and traction. Looking back at the dust cup, let's start from the front. Multi-cyclone, no loss of suction. Here's the side profile and the other side where we have our max indicator letting us know when it's full and time to empty. To empty this, go ahead, turn it over to the back side. We have our manual release button right there, and all the contents can be poured out into your trash can. Back up at the top, we have a button to press right here. And once we press that, that opens up this lid with additional instructions to clean the filter. So you can pop that out. Then we have a handle in here. we can pull the whole thing out to clean as needed. Then we just have to spend a second, line it back up, just like so. Put the handle back in, put our filter back in, and then we're all set and ready to go to put it back onto the base right here. And then it's just gonna slide right back down and in, and then we can lock it back in place so it's not going to move. Now let's go ahead, let's get this vacuum set up and charged up. All right, our first clean's out of the way. Let's take a look at the vacuum. We'll see how everything held up. We'll check for tangles, things like that. Also, I intercepted it before it would go home and empty itself. So I wanted you guys to be able to see the contents of the dustbin. So we'll look at that. Starting with the top, everything looks great. We'll look at it from the side. You'll notice some dust build up along the front. So you definitely want to keep an eye on that and just wipe it down as needed. It'd be good for us to go ahead and already wipe ours down. Our house was filthy. Now we'll look at it from the very bottom. Couple of common tangles here and there around the side cleaning brushes as expected. So if you have long-haired individuals or pets in your house, you can expect something similar. I have 3 long-haired individuals and a long-haired dog. So we have quite the hairy household, as I say. And looking at the brush roller, this is a lot better than I thought it would be. We have a couple of carpet fibers and threads right there at the center, but not bad. I mean, look at this. The dustbin is full. It's leaking out right here. So we have a lot of hair that we vacuumed up. Looking at the mop pad, it looks great. Now, again, this doesn't wash, clean, and dry itself. So you'll want to go ahead and rinse and clean this off after every use. Ours doesn't have much, if at all, any discoloration. So a lot of times you'll find some dirt and discoloration, maybe even some stains, sometimes some crumbs, things like that will collect on these. So keep an eye on that as well and stay up to date on trying your best to clean that after every use. Now let's go ahead, let's get that dustbin out right here. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Look at that, it is packed to the brim. And here's a good look at the water level remaining. So we would have to fill this up before we use it again. So you'll get about 2, maybe 2.5 cleans out of this, I'd say, before you'd have to refill, depending on the size of your household and your square footage. Wish me luck as I open this. I don't want to spill it everywhere. But look at that. Look at all of the debris that we were able to vacuum up. Tons of pet hair, human hair, dirt, and dust. And then our heavier objects and crumbs down at the bottom. Really fine dust down there too. A lot of leaves. Got a rubber band in there. You get the idea. This is what you can expect day to day in a real household environment. Let's spend a minute and talk about the mobile app. Let me give you an overview of the Eureka app with our E20 Plus. So this is the main screen once you have it set up, where we can quickly start a clean, or if it's out and about, we can send it back home to recharge. Currently, we're charging right now on the base. So let's select enter and we'll enter into our device settings, where we'll get a nice breakdown of our previous clean. We have a very detailed map right there showing us row by row and everywhere where it cleaned in that particular room, because that was the last clean that we did. Just one single room cleaning. We can configure that down at the bottom. There's the room option, so you can choose how many times you want to clean the room, up to 3 times. Pick and choose the rooms that you want cleaned. You can do a full clean or a zone clean. So we can add multiple zones, up to 5 zones. And again, up to 3 times to clean those particular zones. Then we have our cleaning preferences. We can adjust the suction power, the water level, mopping mode on or off, carpet mode on or off. All of that can be easily configured right there. We have our dust collection option here. So that's going to go ahead and initiate dust collection, which is great to see. Then at the center right-hand side of our screen, we have our map edit option. This is all of our map settings, so we can set no-go zones. That consists of virtual walls and barriers, no vacuum zones, and no mop zones. Everything's drag and drop, very customizable. And then for even more settings in the top right-hand corner, we can set a schedule, we can view our cleaning history, we can save up to 4 maps, so we can have multiple maps created here. Then we have voice settings, robot settings here. So we can look through some of those things like do not disturb, adjusting units, factory reset. Then we have automatic dust collection settings. You can adjust the frequency, how many times, what mode do you want, quick, standard, or deep. Then further down, we have our accessory lifetime usage. This helps us with our popular pieces that we'll have to replace every once in a while, like our filters and brushes. And a reminder to clean sensors. And then we have manual control, so we can drive the vacuum with our phone. And then we also have Find My Robot. If it's missing around your house, you can locate it that way. And then we have our typical device information down at the bottom, like updating the firmware, FAQ section, things along those lines. So a very nice and easy to navigate app with clean design and a lot of customization. Now let's see how our Eureka E20 Plus stacks up against the competition, specifically to the over 70 different robot vacuum cleaners that I've personally tested. We continue to build out this database and refine it over time, but we'll look at the average of those vacuum cleaners compared to our E20 Plus. First up, we're looking at max suction power. This is measured in PAs or pascals. Typically, the higher, the better you want to see here. And in this case, we're almost 3,000 PAs above average. Same can be said with our max CFM metric. We record this in-house. Usually, you'll find that the higher this value, the better actual real-world performance in cleaning that you'll get. In this case, although we had higher suction power, our CFM rating is actually a little bit lower. But the good news here, our carpet deep cleaning score, where we embed coffee grounds into carpet and measure before and after, we beat out that average by 8 points. We got a 95 out of the possible 100, so a very good and thorough clean with this vacuum in the real world. Next up is decibels. This is how loud the vacuum is. So the lower this value, the quieter your vacuum is. This peaked at 74 decibels. That's 3 decibels above the average RoboVac, but in this case, it's not going to be any noticeably louder or quieter. Moving right along to battery life, this is measured in minutes. We have up to 180-minute runtime with this vacuum. Depending on how you configure the suction settings, you'll have to use it on the lowest suction setting, but that's still going to be 20 minutes above your typical robot vac average. So if you have a large footprint and a lot of square feet that you want this unit to cover in one pass, that's where you'll appreciate having that longer runtime. And the reason we get that longer runtime is due to the larger battery capacity. You'll notice that the typical average robot vac has about a 3,900 milliamp hour battery capacity. This comes in on the higher side at 5,200 milliamp hours. Next, we're looking at height. This is measured in inches, 3.9 inches compared to the average of 3.7. But if we're looking at just LiDAR equipped vacuum cleaners, this is going to be right at that average. Our average skews a little bit lower because our database includes a lot of very, very cheap entry-level vacuums that aren't equipped with premium navigation. When you have LiDAR, you have to have that laser module up at the top, so that makes your vacuum a little bit taller. That just means that it might not be able to get under certain pieces of furniture that a non-LiDAR equipped vacuum would be able to get under to clean, but I would argue that the much improved navigation and mapping performance more than makes up for any sort of height shortcoming. Next is our bin capacity measured in milliliters. That information is not published or readily available at the time of this video for this vacuum cleaner, but just looking at it, eyeballing it compared to the other Eureka vacuums that we've tested, it's going to be in that 200 milliliter range, give or take maybe 50 or 100 milliliters. That will technically be below average, but that average skews higher for vacuums that don't have a self-empty base. Those vacuums have larger dustbins because you have to manually empty them. What we found is when you have a self-emptying vacuum like this, they make the dustbin smaller because it can empty itself. And same thing can be said for water tank capacity, also measured in milliliters. If we had to guess, looking at this compared to other similar mopping Eureka vacuums, it's going to be around that average of about 200 milliliters, maybe a little bit more. You tend to find, same thing here, when they don't refill, wash, clean, and dry themselves, the water tank's going to be a little bit larger than the average, but you could expect somewhere in that 200, 400 milliliter range for this vacuum. That leads us to our mop lift height. This is measured in millimeters. We're near right at the average of 10 millimeters with mop lift height compared to the average of 10.1. Very solid mop lift height. You really don't want it to be any lower than that to make sure you're not making or hardly making any contact with your carpets and rugs. Next up is a feature that we're starting to see a little bit more in the market, but the competition is definitely not catching up yet in this regard. This is your bag-free base station design with the E20 Plus. Great option for you. You no longer have to purchase additional vacuum bags every couple of weeks or couple of months, which Eureka claims can save you up to $70 annually. While we're talking about the base station, another feature often overlooked that you wouldn't even pay attention to normally is their multi-cyclonic dust collection. So basically, with how their base station is designed, it's able to separate dirt and dust before reaching the filter. So most of it, I think they claim about 98% of the dirt and dust is able to be filtered away before we hit the filter, which means you're not buying filters as often. So that's even more additional savings for you with a really clever and well thought out design to filter everything during that dust collection process. Next is what they call their DuoDetect AI. This is their 3D obstacle avoidance system that they say replicates the human eyes because they have 2 sensors on the front, giving it vision to help navigate around obstacles and avoid things in your house. Now, from our experience, you're going to have fairly large obstacles for this to be really successful. There's definitely room for improvement. We've definitely seen worse, but we've also seen a lot better. Now, at this price point for what it is, it's not bad. Something else unique and upgraded with the E20 Plus is their enhanced night vision. This is basically increased capabilities to help it navigate in low light environments. So if you want to run it at night, things along those lines, you'll appreciate how they've continued to fine tune their sensors and vision to help it navigate in those difficult lighting environments. They've also improved the main brush roller with their anti-hair tangling brush design. This has rubber on the main brush roller to help reduce tangles, specifically for pet hairs and pet owners. We didn't notice any dog hair on our main brush roller at all, so it definitely excelled in that, probably 3 to 5 inch range of hair. Now, longer human hairs, those are still going to get tangled every once in a while, but drastically reduced with a brush that's intentional in its design to not tangle with hair. I know we just threw a lot of data and features at you, but what does this all mean? One of the best lenses to look at everything through is what we call price to performance. What does this vacuum cost and how does it stack up against the competition? You'll notice this vacuum is a couple $100 less than the competition, but from everything that we looked at, it either had features that are missing from the average vacuum cleaner, or it excelled in its performance or got close enough. And that should help you see that you're not paying any extra for everything that we got. So it comes in below average in cost, but as we look back through all the data we just discussed, it has additional features, it has even better performance than the average or good enough, and you're not paying a premium for any of that. In fact, you're actually saving money compared to the competition. So where does that leave us in regards to the Eureka E20 Plus? Well, let me share with you my final thoughts. Here's what you need to know. We already discussed the value. That's going to be one of the key features and takeaways for the E20 Plus. The value is there compared to the competition. They packed in LiDAR navigation, self-emptying, and they packed in Bagless self-empty, saving you even more money. And for a vacuum like this, typically if you're lucky enough to get mopping, you're not going to get one that has the mop lifting. So very premium feature set on the E20 Plus. But with that being said, there are some things I want to see improved in the future. First, while we're talking about the mop lift, the mopping itself is underwhelming. My best advice for you is go ahead, saturate that mop pad before you do your mopping. That will help you see better performance. It just takes a while if you have the mop pad dry to have it saturate while it's cleaning. So go ahead and do that. I'd love to see that system improved in the future. Again, there's only so much you can do without increasing the sales price and then pushing this vacuum up into the premium high-end category. So for what it is, it's not bad. But again, I'd like to see that mopping system improved. And the second thing, this might be even more important, is the object recognition. Again, only so much you can do sensor-wise without increasing it into another category within the robot vacuum cleaner space. But I had higher hopes and expectations for this dual system to be able to process and see things better. Maybe they can do some software updates, firmware updates in the future. If not, hopefully in the next iteration of this, with continuing to see that advanced hardware trickle down, we'll get better sensors in the hardware suite of this robot vac.